So what VJ's going to do, hopefully, fingers crossed everyone, is he's going to give you an overview of Parcel Pro, which is an
Pro
ArcGIS Pro
extension.
extension. Uh, I'll talk about Esri some other time if you guys want to chat alone. But this is an extension for Esri. So he's going to give you an overview of the extension, some use cases, some workflows, how those are customized, how you can do those yourself, and some of the integrations that we've got. And again, any questions anybody's got, please engage through. So do you want to take over, VJ?
Yes, sure. Thank you, Ian. And sorry for the for this technological issues. Um, so we were trying to do something different, not just a recording or screenshots. We said, okay, let's show the live system. And a little bit history of where we are. So Farragut is engaged in developing a lot of other products too. Today we are highlighting Parcel Sync. And we have been building Parcel Sync or in the market for last over 15 years. But recently now we started because our GIS desktop is expiring. So we have upgraded it to ArcGIS Pro. And with this upgrade, we have written from scratch, like no single line of the code is reused. There are various reasons. One is not just features and workflows and capabilities we wanted to add. We wanted to also expand some engineering capabilities in the application too. And what are those? I'll briefly describe. Is we have a various customers. Parcel Sync can be connected to different CAMF systems, different type of integration it has, and not everyone has every integration. So we have to address the integration requirements or the workflows requirements. Plus, we also have to see what Esri has provided, how to build the extensions and configurations, how it will fit to address those kind of issues. So we have even customized the Esri's configuration and add-in platform to address all these requirements. And let's see how that goes. I think we have less time. So I'll switch to we'll go through briefly this. If you have a detailed question, we have a booth there. We can discuss in details. But, let me switch to the cursor. So just to save time, it's already started, right? So it's a configuration-based tool, and Esri provides two types of customization. One is configuration, one is called add-in. This configuration, because it provides you additional extensions or extensibility points where you can hook different things. And but when you load, it adds a new toolbar here, right? And those toolbars are also possible in the add-ins, but I'm from the technical background, so just when I say something and then something comes up, okay, let me clarify that. So, but when you get this toolbar, interface is very easy, easy to adopt and use it. When we enhance this, we try to keep it less smaller learning curves to our existing customers so that they don't have to challenge themselves to not just learn the Pro platform, and also learn our tool. So we try to keep the workflow simpler to adopt and added other capabilities. And I think the screen resolution is low, but it has a various other tools on the side. Thank you, Ian. But you see that there are different workflows, right? Parcel management is involved in splitting the parcels, combining, but not only those, there's simpler ones, but there are different scenarios, such as bulk edits. You wanted to annexations, right? They have hundreds of parcels. Maybe you have to update their jurisdictional information and send to CAMA, and then CAMA might send to the billing so that bills are correctly created and sent. So how much wherever it is, based on the system or CAMA or the state, how the bills are created. Some of the factors involve the data which comes from the GIS. So everything is integrated from end to end, like from register of deeds. The deeds are come from register of deed to our system. You perform parcel maintenance, you send it to CAMA, and then further goes down. And when it sends to the CAMA, it can broadcast things to the other systems to an update. Okay, I've done this, and my queues is done, and now it is listed in the CAMA queue, and things like that. I'm also trying to rush to cover a lot of things, but I'll give a chance time to answer some questions. So all these workflows are represented by transactions. So workflow means, let's say, split, but you may have thousands of splits, over the time. So every workflow is represented by a transaction. So that's called create a new transaction. It has so many different type of extension. We have added the capability that whatever is listed here can be modified and customized based on your need and your workflows, right? So right now, this is Henderson County. I think the folks are here. Yeah, they have a different requirement. They wanted to go through just a single transaction which would act as a split or combine or recombine. And how this is going to work, whether they choose split or combine like a single item, but when the parcel sync monitors and reads the type of edit, and then when it sends to CAMA, it identifies, okay, it's a type of split transaction, or it's a type of combined transaction. So user don't have to worry thinking, okay, they wanted to pick split, and then later decide they were supposed to do combine, and they have to cancel it. So they don't have to go through that scenario, just pick one, and then they do the parcel modification. And when they say, okay, I'm ready to send, validate my changes, validate. And when I say validate, there's a bunch of things involved in the validation. But when it says validate, at that time it recognizes what type of edits you have done. It records everything what you have done in maintenance history, attribute level, shape level, and it sends to CAMA. And if CAMA has a separate queue for split and separate queue for combine, those will be listed automatically. And it's not just one CAMA, but our Farragut also sells a CAMA product, which has the maximum and largest integration capabilities available. So that's this solution connects. This example shows the NCPTS. That's our CAMA product. That's where it's integrated right now. So users could pick, and there's a description so that it will help users to adopt what kind of, you can modify, customize this through configuration, what naming convention you want to do, what messages you want to tell to the mappers, and so that they will recognize what type of tool they want to pick, and then they continue. So I'll quickly show maybe just a pick one of this. While I was doing it, so you can start a transaction today, and then maybe you go on a vacation, or you could complete in a day. You can continue anytime, next week or later, or you can let someone else to continue, so there's no blocking on that. You give it a name so that you pick it later if you wanted to pick it again, like you want to stop it here and then continue later. So when I selected the split and demo. Oh, by the way, just notice that deed sync, there was another tab. I'll just briefly describe. That's the tab you see the items which are coming from register of deeds. So you would see that, oh, there is a plat was recorded, a deed was recorded, and it will show there. You can see the images and anything. There is a queue system that you can say, okay, I have 10 users or 5 users. That user is responsible for transfer. The other one is for mapping. You can assign them to the different, they will only see their item assigned. But there's a queue screen where they can see everyone's, and they can reallocate things. If you don't want to give them permission, they can decline the assignment, and they'll say, okay, why you want to decline, you give the reason, and it could be assigned to someone else. So I didn't assign, maybe I'll demo that later on. So I started a split transaction. You see list of steps are involved. User has to go one by one, just like a task list. You just execute a button, and the next button will be available. You check that I'm done. Wherever you wanted to stop, you stop there, and then later on you will be able to start where you left off. So you will be, there are various steps. Well, I can't see right now, but some of those steps would be just purely GIS-related tasks. Some are integrated to the CAMA. So like a transaction task right here. Um, So it shows in the GIS, user will interact. You see the transaction ID, which is actually generated from the camera. In the live, it will provide so that when camera receives it, it knows what transaction you are sending, where it needs to be recorded and all that, right? So you pick based on our system is a perpetual system where you don't have to yearly snapshot. You can keep the camera system, you keep doing edits and anything like that. You just pick the date, the if parcel effective date, and I'm just picking one random. You enter notes and deed information. The situs you wanted to change update the jurisdiction information in camera, send to that. You can choose whether apply or don't apply and save. And then once you've done the task, you go to the next and identify parents, and then you keep going, doing like that. So you identify what is the parent, you split that, you attribute it. I might try to go quickly. And you see that with the color code, you would, even you stop here, you come back later, you will see how it was, based on the color code, you will be able to identify where you left off. So even suppose you are doing a larger subdivision, 40 parcels, and you've only attributed 10, and then later on you will continue from the rest of those. So you will visually also be able to see how much work you have done and then continue, right? So I assigned the task, and you notice that these buttons are not clickable, and these tasks are grayed out. As soon as I check this checkbox, and the next is enabled. So it helps user to not to skip the step, because sometimes it is recorded something that step, and which is as an input to the next one. So, but user can go back too. So if even at this step, I wanted to just say cancel and say I wanted to go back and choose a different parent, and I can check this checkbox. Say maybe no, and then I can start back and choose a different parent. So there's a lot of prevention and validations have been added so that user, if accidentally makes a mistake, they can go back and do it again, or they can delete it. It's a transaction. Another way is like all the data is in a separate version, SDE version. So if you did anything, I can delete all the parcels from here, and then later on don't post it, and you just go and delete it, and you start over again. So the user is like a little bit confident of that. If any mistakes happen, it's not actually really permanent, So can do click the Kogo again. Say no. Oh, sorry, I say no. Save edits, yes. And try. Maybe I can. I didn't enable the Kogo tools yet. I'll just use a simple split. So what I just did is a simple draw the line and split the parcel into, you may have actual real coordinates. And at this point you attribute things. You say, okay, this is your benefit child parcel, then you attribute that. Attribution means you put some tabular data which will recognize by the CAMA system that, okay, this is the address, or this is the acreage, or anything like that. And sake of the time, I'll try to speed up a little bit, but I won't go all of this stuff. But you notice that there is a overlay analysis, so it will intersect with other layers and identify how much fire, how much planning, and all those things. Layers will be recognized. You could also do physical address assignment, multiple parcels. After that, you just say validate and post. We have a step. That's where either you delete it or anything. Validate happens not only just what data you edited, but is also checking different versions. If the same parcel being modified by some other user, it will check that with a version conflict. If it is not there, it will prompt the user, repair that, and say, okay, proceed. So that's where. So that's, once it is done, it is posted, it will close automatic, you begin the new one, you know. That's how it is. So I'm closing this quickly, and I think we have only 3 minutes left. Maybe if someone has any questions, you know. As a CAMA is a computerized mass, computer-assisted mass appraisal system. Yeah. It's a land record, CAMA, sometimes land record and CAMA. So we're basically a software or a system which maintains your land records, like a land or building, outbuilding, things like that. Anyone?
Have you faced any issue with like duplication of parcels, or is there any way to address the duplication of parcels?
So duplication of parcels, you know, it's a very generic run right now. So I'm just going to little bit add more to yours. So duplication could happen many ways, and our system will recognize that. So either it's what type of duplication, whether it's just an attribute or parcel ID or a shape, or if it is a duplication or with the overlap. So there are topology rules. If they overlap, it will show. I think close the trunk. But there is a validate topology step too. At that time, you can run your topology, and if there is whatever the rules you set up, it will visually show you that there are. If there is a duplicate that kind. If there is a parcel ID, like you can't assign same parcel ID to multiple, it will recognize those two. And if you're even creating a new one and you're trying to use one of the old one, so validation step that I mentioned is basically in behind the scene engineering part. We have built a pipeline, validation pipeline. And why it's calling a pipeline? Because we can keep adding multiple steps as the customer want. And even the integration points to that, it has a, so the answer to yes, it can recognize, but based on what rules we set.
One other question, does every county in North Carolina use this software?
No, so not every county, but there are many who are our customer already. And they are using it, and they may have other third-party vendors, or some are still using manually within the Arc Desktop or ArcGIS Pro. So there are mix, but it's just as a Farragut system we are selling, offering to the counties.